Doom is a first-person shooter that plays like an old FPS, multiple weapons to hold rather than the regular 2 weapons, fast-paced movement so you can run into a Hell Knight a lot quicker and then run the other way hoping he's asleep, and no reloads. To call Doom a first-person shooter is almost lying. The real genre it belongs to is arena shooter, seeing as every time you get into combat it's always an arena. They change in shapes, but for the most part, it's a massive square. Doom does have a story. Somehow. What's the story about? Honestly, I wasn't paying attention to it because you can skip 90% of the story as most of it is told through audio logs, the codex, and not moving too quick. But does the story mean anything? No. I found the game fun without a reason to be killing all the demons that found their way in front of my shotgun, because honestly, the game is pretty fun without a story. But for you who really wants to know the story of Doom, I'll put it simply. Scientist Lady opens a gateway to hell for energy, she makes a deal with the devil, you hunt her down, close the portals, and have a climax of killing a giant crab. Again, gameplay is the strongest segment of this game than story because the main character is Doom Guy, still hasn't got a name, and is basically the embodiment of rage. And to emphasize how much he doesn't care about story, he destroys a monitor 5 seconds in of hearing it because he'd much rather kill demons than listen to a story. Because he doesn't need motivation to kill a demon other than it is a bad guy, we need to get rid of him. As I said before, the gameplay is fast paced and full of things to kill. For a game that has a lot of guns, the majority of them don't seem to have much of a recoil, which is where the old style FPS comes in. It's not meant to be realistic or hold your hand, so when you find yourself in one of those oh shit moments, the game won't tell you to use the chainsaw or the BFG for the insta-kill if you're having issues, and if you don't have the charges for either of those weapons, you best hope you know how to bunny hop backwards and shoot whatever comes in your way. Because Hell Knight early on in the game, kinda scary. Hell Knight later on in the game, kinda scary too. This is what makes it fun. While the guns might not have much impact for Doom Guy, they do have a lot of impact on the zombies and the imps. Everything else sort of just shrugs it off. And then again, if you shoot something enough times, it will eventually go down, so I guess that's all he needs to know. And the same could be said about boss fights, except for I found out that the rocket launcher is actually the most effective for boss fights because big explosions seems to deal a lot of damage. Before I talk about the boss fights, I want to talk about the new addition to the game, the glory kills. When an enemy takes enough damage, it will be stunned for a little bit, glowing blue or orange. When they're like this, you can hit the glory kill button and finish them off with a short cutscene. First time I used this, I thought to myself, it's taking a bit too long because the first one for some reason takes longer than the rest. But when you're actually in combat and you're just surrounded by loads of guys and you use the glory kill, it actually goes a lot quicker. I have no idea why it's like that. I think it just realizes, oh yeah, this is still running in real time, so it just assumes that I guess I should probably not be stuck in this, which is good because it actually adds to gameplay rather than take away from gameplay. The thing is, you may not be able to do this personally, but you can enjoy the view. The glory kills also help fill up the weapons upgrade meter, which when full rewards you with a weapon upgrade token you can use on the weapon improvements you have unlocked. The game does seem to award you a lot of these tokens for basically nothing. All you're actually doing is just playing the game, and it seems to just throw them at you. And I think I know the reason why, because they don't actually have that much of an impact on your actual playstyle. I mean, yeah, sure, they might make your weapons do something that's really cool, like when you explode a guy with the explosive shot from the shotgun, it also sends out little explosive bullets in every direction, so it could actually AoE, which is great, but really it's not needed. So at best, they're more mediocre than anything else. There are also player upgrades that you can obtain through just secret areas. If you're lucky, you can actually find them pretty easily, and some of them are just right in front of you. It's hard to miss them. And all they do is just increase your health, or increase your armor, or just give you more ammo capacity. So it's pretty standard stuff to begin with, and the payoff, I'd say the ammo is the biggest payoff because frankly you run out of ammo pretty quick and you don't want to use your chainsaw just to get ammo back on, let's say, an imp when you could actually use it on something like a Hell Knight or a Baron of Hell, which is much harder to kill and takes a few more shotgun shells to kill. Anyway, back to the boss fights. They're fun. There are only 3 boss fights though in the entire game. You got the giant crab at the end, you have the cyber demon, which is the first boss you actually fight, and then you've got some weird chest burster sort of looking dude going inside a shell, and then you kill him, and then 2 of his little brothers come up and is like, hey look, we're gonna have a Prince of Persia 2 Thrones type deal going on here, but we have a shared health pool rather than completely different health pools. So, meh. While they may be fun, they are surprisingly short. But then again, when playing a first-person shooter, you don't actually want to have a bullet-spongy enemy that goes on for 10 minutes, because honestly that will just stop you from playing the game altogether. There's no reason to continue playing the game if all that's going to happen is you run out of ammo before he dies and then you got nothing else to do. Which brings me on to one of my other issues that I have with the game. One of the biggest issues I have is the fact that whenever you try to get a keycard or one of the character upgrades to the Predator Elites, the character upgrades through just the cores that you destroy, it takes away from the gameplay because it's a 5-second cutscene. While it may only be 5 seconds, but it does go on forever when you see it all the damn time and it's the exact same cutscene. But then again, this isn't really a major issue, it's just a small minor gripe that I have with it. Overall, I really enjoyed Doom, and I also like the humor it had. I may not have actually mentioned it that much in the review, but Doom does have a sense of humor that's very fitting to itself. So I highly recommend you get Doom. It actually has quite a bit of longevity as well, because there are collectibles, and there's also a multiplayer. I'm not sure if the multiplayer is still active though. But honestly, the single player is actually enough to get you playing Doom, and probably more play sessions through the collectibles.